What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video, and in this one we're going to talk about three stocks that are getting a lot of attention and volume right now. So overall today it was a bit choppy, but a lot of tech stocks and growth stocks did do very well, such as Twilio, Zoom, Roku, and even Tesla. A lot of great recovery on those. Now we had the FOMC minutes as well as CPI data come out, so that's where you see this chop and uncertainty, typical for these events. But now that we know tapering is likely to come November, December, and end sometime mid next year, there's not too much standing in our way at the moment. Things have kind of been pushed off, and we still have the infrastructure bill at the end of the month that could take us higher. So hopefully over the next couple of weeks, we see a lot of these growth and tech stocks start taking off again. Now, if you guys enjoy these videos, please like and subscribe, and let's get into these three stocks. All right, first up, we got to talk about Sofi. So we did kind of have a pullback today a little bit, and it was right around that section I was talking about in yesterday's video. 1930 to 1940 is a pretty big resistance for us to break, and hopefully we do get into that $20 range pretty soon here. But we sold off around 9 o'clock, and I definitely noticed it. My account noticed it because I am heavy on Sofi, but I decided to pick up some weekly call options just as a little bit of a gamble here, and it actually worked out. Took 5 options. I knew it was going to bounce because this thing has been getting bought up, and it bounced, got my profits, got out, and Sofi kind of traded sideways the rest of the day and is looking pretty good up after hours, about 2%. Now, not much news for Sofi today, just talking about the price targets they've received, the bullish points investors are making, and how they might receive this bank charter soon, and in the near future, student loans will be coming back in 2022. Something else that's coming up for Sofi actually tomorrow, Thursday, October 14th, is the Galileo webinar talking about capturing the $22 trillion consumer financial service market opportunity, and the various times are down here. Now, they're going to be talking about trends in consumer banking products and services. You can register for the webinar here, and I will link this in my description if you're available to watch this or view this. I will probably be busy at work, but it's going to be ran by these two right here, and just talk about the acceleration of digital payments. Not sure how this is going to affect the stock tomorrow, whether bullish or bearish, or it just moves flat. But nonetheless, it's probably going to be a positive catalyst and overall bullish for Sofi. So here's the one-day chart for Sofi. Now, this is the section where I do expect some selling or buyers and sellers to really battle it out right here. Would love to see Sofi break over that and head back into the 20s. Now, after hours, you can see we are doing very well. We are up after hours. And this is where I would, if Sofi does come back down and holds the overall uptrend, I would like to buy more right here, especially some more options. But you guys know these are the ranges that I'm looking to break through. Obviously, we need to break through 20, and then it's going to be 21, 23, and then 25 back to all-time highs. Volume has been very good. Sofi is overbought on the daily now. MACD still crossing up, but you could expect some profit taking or at least some battling between the buyers and sellers. Last time Sofi was overbought, you can see a couple times it's happened where it gets overbought and sells off. So it's just the way it goes. I'm going to definitely keep holding, but I would like to add more if it can come down a little bit. Other than that, I have plenty of Sofi, but the Sofi sentiment is currently 71% bearish on the large orders from one day. Now that just means that calls bought are only 484,000, calls sold are 1.1 million, meaning people just don't think Sofi is going to get there this week, so they're collecting some premium. And then you have puts bought 295,000 and puts sold 79,000. So overall, a little bit bearish, likely just going to trade in this range, but the volume's doing good and it looks good after hours, so we'll see if we can break over this. Second up is ANY. This is one we've been talking on the channel about in the last few weeks. Recently, this one did pump up. I believe it touched around $10 to $12 when a lot of the meme stocks were running, and then it sold off, consolidated for a while. Anything under 6 was a good buy. Now it has pumped a little bit. It's going for that gap fill that we've been talking about on the channel for a while now. It's officially going for it. Volume is very solid, 76 million, average volume only 26 million. We knew this would be a good Q4 play. I still think it's a good play. Obviously, you want to buy if it can come down a little bit and you get a better risk reward, but Q4, they're going to have deliveries, they're going to have their merger going on, and today they did get news. So, what's going on? Why is the stock rising? The stock was rising because of an announcement of the largest single hosting service deal in Core Scientific's history. ANY stock price saw an uptrend of 10% to reach 768, obviously higher than that now. And that was the time of this writing. The stock was gloomy in the previous trade and went down by 10.10% at closing. Now, this is just a big deal. It's a huge announcement for the second largest hosting service deal. AnyStock announced that it entered into agreement with Griffin Digital Mining for the carbon neutral Bitcoin mining hosting capacity of approximately 230 megawatts. And they've secured 60,000 Bitcoin animiners. Obviously, when crypto runs, this is going to do well. It's a crypto related stock. So we'll see how it goes. Now let's get into the chart and sentiment. All right, so we have gone over this chart before, and basically ANY was trading in this box for a while, just bouncing up and down, holding pretty good support around 567, and we broke out over 7 and then broke out over 750, which was huge, entered into this gap, went up, went down. Now we are post-market at 865, which is right around the end of this gap fill, which makes me a little bit nervous for ANY in the coming days. You can see it's approaching overbought. Things are still bullish at the moment, but I could see it rejecting after it fills this gap, so just be very careful of that. We do have this wick at all-time highs, the recent all-time highs of around $12, so we could get back to there with some catalysts or hype and FOMO. Now, if you guys want to see the gap a little bit better, we will chop down the time frame here. But this is the one that I've been talking about. It just took quite some time to officially fill it. So if we zoom all the way back out, this gap came from a couple weeks ago when everything was pumping up, and then so it pumped and then gapped down. Just took a long time to fill it finally. But ANY is pretty bullish. Volume was great today. So we'll see how it does in the coming days. All right, and last up we have BBIG. We talked about this one last week in the Discord when it sold off to around $5. That was a pretty good buy zone, knowing that they have a spin-off merger coming up. Now, it's actually not this week. It is going to be next week. It's been postponed. Tomorrow, BBIG has an annual meeting of stockholders, October 14th, 2021 at 9:30 a.m. And so that's going to be going on. We'll see how the stock reacts to that. But in this last week, up about 14% on the day, up almost 7%, including after hours. So this was a pretty good one to buy around $5, especially if you picked up some shares or options. It's a pretty decent gain in the stock there. Now, we will check out the chart and the sentiment. It's likely a little bit overbought at the moment and could cool off, but with next week, the spinoff coming up, we could see this thing gain a lot of volume and hype again. So volume today exceeded average volume by 29 million. So a lot of people are paying attention to this because just a few weeks ago, this thing did pop to around $10 to $11. So chart's actually looking really good for BBIG. You can see, a couple weeks ago, we were holding around the $8 to $9 range very well before spiraling down into this downtrend for a couple of weeks. Overall market was choppy and bearish, and there were deals elsewhere, and the meme stocks kind of took a cooling off. But we were in this downtrend. We broke out of the daily downtrend and held above it, which is very bullish, and it's on high volume with catalysts coming up. So BBIG is actually looking very good. It's actually not overbought on the daily. As you can see back here, this is overbought, and that's when the meme hype was running, and it was around $10 to $12, followed by a sell-off. So you typically don't want to buy when things are overbought. It's just asking to be bag holding. But overall chart looks great, broke out, and the MACD is crossing up. The levels I would want to see BBIG breakthrough would be 777, around that area, then hold over that and break, continue to break 879, then around 940 and continue onward. So I think the catalyst and volume could help, but be very careful with these. The catalysts tend to be sell the news, but we'll see how this one goes. The overall sentiment isn't the best at the moment. People may have think this one exhausted itself for at least this week.